It's the 13th of July in Butler, Pennsylvania. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is speaking at a rally. It's a pivotal moment in his campaign, as it's only days until he plans to accept the official Republican nomination for the upcoming presidential election. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation and excitement. Supporters have traveled from all over the state, some from neighboring states, to witness this event. Many have camped out overnight to secure a spot close to the stage. The air is filled with the sounds of vendors selling merchandise, the murmur of conversations, and the occasional burst of cheering as people spot friends or notable figures in the crowd. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden way over the scene, Trump takes the stage. He is greeted by a thunderous applause, the kind that reverberates through your chest. He's just minutes into his speech when shots are fired, shattering the evening. The initial sound is confused for fireworks, but the sudden screams and chaos quickly make it clear that something far more sinister is happening. Take a look at what happened. Trump got hit but survived. Someone tried to assassinate him in broad daylight. Here is how it unfolded. By the time this video is published, new details might have emerged. It's a hot, sweltering early evening as tens of thousands gather here to see Trump. Pennsylvania is one of 6 vital swing states that will help secure the win in the next presidential election. Butler skews heavily Republican, and it is a blue-collar town with deep-rooted values. The rally is a sea of red, white, and blue, with people wearing Make America Great Again hats and holding signs in support of Trump. He is surrounded by supporters. Most are sitting or standing in front of the stage, their faces full of anticipation. Some sit on the bleachers, center, left, and right, waving flags and cheering intermittently. Trump's support staff and security, including Secret Service agents, are right at the stage, vigilant and ready to act at a moment's notice. Behind him are 3 large buildings, their imposing structures casting long shadows as the sun begins to set. On the roof of the building on the far left and on the far right are Secret Service snipers. They are constantly scanning the surroundings, looking for threats. They can be seen in this video filmed by a crowd member. Trump begins with a speech, his voice carrying over the crowd with confidence and enthusiasm. The crowd erupts in cheers, and Trump pauses, basking in the adulation. Things seem normal. He turns to the right and points at a chart showing statistics on border crossings, highlighting his administration's efforts to secure the nation's borders. The chart is filled with colorful graphs and bold text, aimed at making the information accessible and impactful. At the same time, several people in the crowd notice a man with a gun on the roof of a building close by. All of a sudden, bullets start flying. One even gets captured on camera, a stark and terrifying moment that will be replayed countless times on news outlets. Another building, about 400 feet or 120 meters north of the stage, is where the shots are coming from. On the roof, the gunman is 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He is armed with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. First, he apparently fires a round of 3 shots. Trump reaches up with his hand, a reflexive motion as the first bullet pierces the upper part of his right ear. The shock of the impact momentarily disorients him, but his instincts and training quickly take over. He will later say that turning over to the right at that exact moment prevented the bullet from hitting him right in the head. He ducks down behind the podium, his body reacting instinctively to the threat. Within 3 to 4 seconds after the first shot, Secret Service agents swarm the former president and shield him with their bodies, their training kicking in as they form a human barrier around him. The agents' faces are grim and focused, their eyes scanning the area for any additional threats. Crooks opens fire again immediately with 5 more shots, the rapid succession of gunfire creating chaos and panic in the crowd. The once jubilant atmosphere is now filled with screams and the sound of people scrambling for cover. Right before the first shot by Crooks, one of the snipers on the left roof behind Trump seems to detect the gunman and prepares to return fire. Some outlets report that these snipers killed Crooks, while the Secret Service confirmed its personnel neutralized the shooter. We could not corroborate that it was, in fact, these specific agents. The gunman also hit spectators on the bleachers. 1 man died. 50-year-old Corey Comprador, a lifelong resident of Butler and a fervent supporter of Trump. He was a father of 3, known for his community involvement and dedication to his family. 2 others were critically injured. Their lives forever changed in those terrifying moments. With Trump's microphone still on, we can hear the tense exchanges among the agents.
Take a look at what happened.
In about 75 seconds after ducking to the ground, Trump raises his fist, a gesture of defiance and resilience. He's mouthing the words "fight, fight, fight," a rallying cry that resonates deeply with his supporters. The resulting photo immediately travels around the entire world, becoming an iconic image of defiance. The crowd starts to chant for the former president as he leaves the stage, bleeding but unbowed. Trump is then rushed to a hospital, his security detail maintaining a tight formation around him. Later that night, he is flown to New Jersey. He appears to be well, his spirit undeterred by the attempt on his life. There are a lot of questions we don't have an answer to right now. Why were the forces unable to prevent the attack? Analysis on X suggests that at least the snipers on the roof behind Trump were likely scouting for dangers further away, with this rooftop possibly falling into the responsibility of other law enforcement agents. We were unable to corroborate that. Why couldn't our men climb up on this building? What was Crook's motive? The gunman had no criminal history in Pennsylvania's public court records. The New York Times found a voter registration record for Crooks. It shows that he was registered as a Republican. They also found that he donated $15 to a liberal voter turnout group through a Democratic donation platform in 2021. He was a kitchen worker and had a membership at a local shooting club. The FBI found suspicious devices in both his car and home. They are being evaluated by the agency. At the time of this recording, the investigation is ongoing, and new information is being published by the minute. President Biden and various leaders around the world condemn the attack and political violence at large. The picture of Trump, bloodied but defiant, with a raised fist in front of the American flag, will surely become a powerful symbol in his re-election campaign. The image encapsulates the intense polarization and the high stakes of the current political climate, serving as a poignant reminder of the challenges that lie ahead. Political analysts are already speculating on how this event will influence voter sentiment and the broader narrative of the election. In the days following the attack, the media is abuzz with coverage. News channels replay the footage of the shooting, interviews with eyewitnesses, and commentary from political pundits. Theories about Crook's motivations and potential connections to extremist groups abound, though none have been substantiated. Social media platforms are flooded with posts, ranging from expressions of outrage and sympathy to conspiracy theories and political rhetoric. As Trump recovers, he releases a series of statements from his hospital bed, thanking his supporters for their prayers and vowing to continue his campaign with renewed vigor. His team capitalizes on the incident, using it to rally his base and draw stark contrasts between Trump's resilience and what they portray as the chaos and lawlessness of his opponents. Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies intensify their investigation into Crook's background. They conduct interviews with his friends, family, and acquaintances, piecing together a profile of a young man whose actions have shocked the nation. Mental health professionals weigh in on the potential factors that could have driven him to commit such a violent act, emphasizing the importance of addressing underlying issues in society. The families of the victims are thrust into the spotlight as well. Corey Comprador's widow speaks to the press, her voice trembling with emotion as she describes the husband and father who was taken from her so suddenly. Community members organize vigils and fundraisers to support those affected by the tragedy, demonstrating the resilience and solidarity of the Butler community. As the weeks pass, the incident continues to dominate headlines. It becomes a central talking point in the presidential race, with candidates from both parties using it to advance their platforms. Debates about gun control, mental health, and political violence gain new urgency, highlighting the deep divisions within the country. Through it all, The image of Trump, blood,